Why is the shop closing early?
Hello, you have reached Peter's Pet Shop. We are sad to inform you that today we will be closing 2 hours earlier due to our biannual inventory count. We apologise for the inconvenience and hope you can come in tomorrow instead. Please remember that we will be open on the bank holiday on Monday. If you have any pet-related emergencies, please call your vet in the meantime.
A school is having an activity day. What is the reason?
Since our winter holiday activity was so successful, we have decided to have another one to celebrate finishing the term. We will not be hosting a sports-themed event as suggested because we believe it will be too stressful and competitive. Our students deserve to relax and have fun after the completion of a wonderful academic year.
Jason is doing his homework. What subject does he need help with?
I can't believe how much homework I have. Okay, let's see here. I have to finish my science project. It's taken me a long time, but I'm almost done. Then I have an essay for English class, but that'll be a piece of cake. What I'm really dreading is this algebra homework. There are so many formulas to remember and I just don't get it. Maybe I need a tutor.
Sharon is writing a postcard. Who is she writing to?
I haven't written a postcard in ages. When I was in elementary school, I used to have a pen pal who lived in Spain. We would write each other postcards, and it was a good way to practice my Spanish. My grandmother actually reminded me of this and inspired me to write this postcard to my cousin who just moved to Colombia. I can practice my Spanish again, and it's a nice way to keep in touch.
A woman is shopping. What size does she need?
I hate shopping for my husband. He is so difficult to buy for because he's really picky with how things fit. Last time I bought him a shirt in small and it was so tight on him. I guess he gained weight. Another time I bought him a sweater in a large, for an oversized fit, and he was offended that it was too big. This time I'm aiming for the middle of those two. Hopefully it works.
Two co-workers are talking about their upcoming conference. When is it?
I can't believe it's already Monday. I'm so tired.
Well, this week is going to be a long one. Remember, we have our conference on Saturday the 15th. Ugh, an extra day of work.
What are you talking about? Friday is the 15th. Our conference is on Friday.
Oh, wow. You're right. And here I was thinking it was on the weekend. Silly me.
April is describing a party she attended. What was her favourite part?
I took my son to a birthday party on the weekend. It was only 2 hours, so I was going to stay. And then they asked me to help supervise activities. Normally, I would have said yes, but the clown that they hired was absolutely frightening. I don't understand how the children weren't afraid. I left and came back in time for cake, which was to die for. I wonder what bakery they got it from.
Celeste is meeting a friend. What time did the friend arrive?
My friend was coming to visit for the weekend from out of town, so I decided to meet her at the airport. Her flight was due to arrive at 11, but she had messaged me at 9 to tell me that there was a slight delay. I was already on my way to the airport when I read the message, but thankfully she only arrived half an hour later than expected.
Ahmet is arranging lunch with a client. What day does he suggest?
I know you had wanted to meet on Friday originally, but there is a really good restaurant that does lunch deals from Tuesday to Thursday. It gets quite busy as the week progresses, so I'm thinking the first day of the special would be best for us. Does that work for you?
Sarah is planning a surprise party. What does she need to pick up at the store?
I'm almost done setting up my husband's surprise party for this evening. I've already decorated the place with balloons and we have more than enough beverages for everyone. I think I need to pick up some more chips and popcorn for everyone to munch on before dinner. I'll stop by the supermarket on the way to the venue.
Two friends are making plans for a day out. What will they do first?
So are we catching the movie at noon? I've been waiting weeks to see the new superhero film. I want to go to the first showtime.
It's meant to be a beautiful day. Can't we spend the day at the beach instead and watch the movie in the evening?
I guess that makes sense. But before, let's go on a walk past the cinema and buy tickets for the evening show, just in case it sells out.
Okay, that's a nice scenic route anyway.
Greg is calling his friend. What is the reason of his call?
Hi, Darren. Just wanted to call and say I'm sorry for not inviting you to the cottage with us last weekend. We didn't have enough space in the car and I thought you were working. Give me a call back when you're free and we can work something out for next time.
I have
Talk to you
never
later.
been to a
Jane is going to a concert. What genre is the music?
I have never been to a concert before, so I'm really excited. Of course, I have been to a few gigs to support my friends in a rock band, but nothing like this. I know country isn't everyone's favorite genre, but I can't wait to sing along to all the songs with a crowd of like-minded people. I heard that the singer will be doing acoustic covers of well-known pop songs.
Four people are discussing their views on their social lives. Complete the sentences. Use each answer only once. You will not need two of the reasons.
I would always be up for hanging out with friends back in the day. When I was in high school, I was such a social butterfly. I think at my peak, I was in 5 or 6 clubs and teams, and I was always trying new things. I think I must have exhausted myself because I'm much more introverted these days. Of course, I still like to spend time with my friends from time to time, but not every day like before.
My pals and I love to shop together. We all met when we worked together at a mall, and I think that initial bonding experience really shaped our friendship. However, it's not the most sustainable anymore. In fact, it can get really expensive, especially when we go for dinner afterwards. I always dread that because my friends always want to go to trendy spots, which always makes me splurge even more.
I used to be in a fraternity when I was in university, so I was always surrounded by a ton of people. We were a real brotherhood, almost the size of a football team, doing everything together. I'll never forget the memories that I made with those guys, but there was a lot of fake friends. Today, I only have a strong bond with 2 or 3 of them. I'd rather know that I have a few true friends than put up with a lot of insincere people.
My best friend and I don't have many common interests. I love being active and outdoors, while she prefers to do more artistic hobbies. We have tried to indulge in each other's interests before, but we're just too dissimilar. We make an effort to catch up over dinner, always at a new restaurant. Despite our differences, what we can agree on is our love for international dishes.
Listen to two friends discussing living situations. Read the statements and decide whose opinion matches the best, the man's, the woman's, or both.
Look at these photos of my new apartment. I'm moving in next Saturday.
Oh wow, it's nice. But I thought you lived with your parents.
Well, I am, but I decided to move. I don't like how my mum and dad are always getting involved in my personal life. I can't even talk on the phone without being interrupted. Plus, I just graduated university, so I feel like it's time to be on my own.
Fair enough. I know that I didn't feel like that when I moved out, but I see your point. Are you living alone, or do you have any housemates?
Well, my original plan was to move into a studio flat by myself. Unfortunately, I didn't think I would be able to afford it in the long run. The rent wasn't so bad, but I knew once bills came, it would be a challenge to make ends meet. So, I'm going to live with my friend from uni.
Yeah, good choice. I also have 2 housemates, and we split the rent, electricity, gas, and Wi-Fi 3 ways. By doing so, we have more funds to spend as we wish.
So, you live with 2 other people. How do you divide up the chores?
Well, we think it's most effective to do it together. We choose a mutually convenient day and put on some good music to help the time go by. It really works for us.
I don't think that will work for my situation. We have very different schedules, so I think it would be a burden to try that out. We'll probably just have a rotation.
I've tried that before and it was unsuccessful. I found that my old housemates would always try to shirk responsibilities and make up excuses for not doing their share of cleaning. I hated it.
Was that when you lived in your old apartment? It was so far.
I know, it was awful. It was so far away from work and took me ages to get there. I'm so much happier living in walking distance from the office now.
Really? But you were right downtown. I would much rather be around the shops and nightlife than by work. I don't mind commuting so long as I have a good podcast to listen to on my way.
Listen to a counsellor talking about important skills for jobs and answer the questions.
As the scholastic year is coming to a close, I know many of you will begin your job hunt. While you're likely to be applying to part-time positions, I hope you will find these tips applicable to both your short and long-term searches. Now, many people believe that the key to success is that students must complete endless amounts of unpaid internships in order to secure a successful role after graduation. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. Nor is the popular myth that you should be applying to hundreds of jobs a week. I mean, I suppose that might statistically improve your chances, but it's not a guarantee. Rather, being able to effectively network is the single most important factor in securing employment. While it is widely believed that using personal connections is a form of nepotism, I don't see how using these bonds to help you get your foot in the door is a problem. Of course, it is your attitude that is your best resource when it comes to thriving in a company. I assume most of you have able to manage time wisely written on your resume because you think it is what prospective employers would like to see. However, did you know that workers are really only productive for about 3 hours a day? Bosses and supervisors know this, and I'm sure they are guilty of it too. In its place, try presenting another soft skill. From my own personal hiring experience, companies want someone who will radiate positivity in the face of adversity. Some confuse this with flexibility. Don't get me wrong, it is important to be willing to adapt to change, but being too flexible will result in you being taken advantage of. For this reason, I always recommend going into an interview with a big smile on your face.
Listen to a member of a book club talking about her method of choosing books and answer the questions.
As we know, fiction and non-fiction are 2 very different genres. While non-fiction usually doesn't have a place in book clubs, I can respect some aspects of it in other circumstances. For instance, through historical accounts, people can learn how things were in a specific era. These texts give us the possibility of properly understanding important events in a detailed manner. Another brilliant example of non-fiction that many people enjoy is biographies. These stories narrate the life of a person who has distinguished himself or herself in their particular society. However, it is important to always read non-fiction such as these with a critical lens, as the writer's perspective greatly shapes how history is recorded. For this reason, I always suggest reading books on the same topic by different authors in order to have a more balanced, truthful version of facts. Even though I can recognise the positive features of non-fiction works, I have to say that I strongly prefer fictional literature. Since I am a really imaginative person, I do not always like to stick to reality. As a matter of fact, I tend to gravitate towards stories concerning unreal characters in a mystical land. My preference could be classified under the genre of fantasy, as they mostly share a futuristic setting and usually tell the story of humans travelling into outer space and coming in contact with extraterrestrials. These days, I have been really into literature showing dystopic conditions, allowing me to space out and dive into the plotline. However, this week, I want to focus on a compromise between the two major types. These are historical novels, which narrate the stories of imaginary characters living in a specific and real epoch. Personally, I think it is really the best of both worlds. Through these writings, the author can teach history, but in a more attractive way, inventing a new narrative which helps him to keep readers' attention. You still get the element of being able to escape into a text that you have in fantasy as well, because it is hard to discern what is fact versus fiction.
Critically,
Being sucked into a good story is surely the best part of it all.